Hey, what's up everybody? It's Water Spirit, and I'm going to show you how to make one of the presets from my Moment sample pack, Warehouse Waves. The preset is called Kick French Wave, and it is a Frenchcore kick that can be used in hardcore, Frenchcore, and many other hard dance genres. This is what it sounds like. It's super crunchy and hardcore, and I'm going to show you how to make it. We're going to start with oscillator A because that's going to be the punch of our kick, and as you can see, LFO2 is controlling the level over here to make it stop about halfway through the kick, which is then where the tail is going to come in on oscillator B. The punch is pretty simple. It's simply a sine wave that's down 2 octaves, and then we have LFO1 controlling the coarse pitch of it to give it that proper kick sound. Honestly, anytime you make a kick in Serum, it will probably start out this way. If we mute oscillator B, this is what it sounds like, which is basically a gabber kick at that point. Still very hardcore, still very cool. You could use that in a ton of stuff, but I wanted to go with the more Frenchcore sound, which requires this saw wave tail here. And oscillator B is being controlled by LFO3 on the level, and also we have a sub sine wave coming in as well on LFO5 around the halfway point to kind of give it the low end of the sub and the high end of the saw wave. The only other LFO that is on here is an LFO for the reverb, which is controlling the punch and gives it that kind of flowing sound whenever it goes into the next kick by causing the reverb to gain volume before it ends. Now let's get to the effects. We have this noise here, which is being applied to the punch of it, which is a very, very slight punch that does not really do that much to it, but it gives it just that extra little click at the beginning. And then the filter over here is boosting around the 200 range and then taking out around the 300 to 500, which is something you would usually want to avoid. I know a lot of people will tell you to get rid of the 200 to 300 area because it makes the sound muddy, but that's exactly what we want here because it gives the kick a lot of character and gives it that saw sound. If we go into the effects here, we can see that there's an equalizer on it, taking out most of the mid and also some of the sub, as well as boosting around that 200 range again to give it more of that saw sound. And I know you might be thinking that it's going to take all the sub out of it, but thankfully we have a compressor down here that is bringing a lot of it back with the multiband, as well as the distortion, which brings a lot of information into the multiband compressor as well. You can see here that it has a pre on it, again, boosting around that mid 200 range, which gives it its kind of spike and something that you would also look for anytime you're making Frenchcore kick drums. The only other effect we have here is the reverb, which again is being controlled by LFO4 to gain volume as the kick ends to lead into the next kick. And honestly, that's it. If you were to make a Frenchcore kick outside of Serum, you would just stack EQ and distortion until you get that Frenchcore sound or whatever sound you're looking for. But thankfully with Serum 2, we can do that all in-house right here. You go way crazier with this and apply distortion and EQ over and over again until you have just a complete mess or a complete masterpiece. But Serum's distortion and EQs are so powerful that you really don't need that, especially if you're just making a Frenchcore kick. And again, here's the final sound. And you can actually play with the cutoff here to kind of give it different character and also continue to mess with the sound. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening, and be sure to download Warehouse Waves out via Moment on Splice.